Why I hated what Team Spurs did in All-Star Saturday Night Skill Contest. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Street Ball Strategies.
Chris dribbles on the floor, sneaky with the glide. Wemby towering tall, reaching for the slide. Skip through the cones with a smirk on the low. Rules tossed out, their skills didn't show.
Today's video is the last video of my series about the 2025 NBA All-Star Weekend. I saved this video for last because I'm pretty sure it's gonna enrage me to even think about it again. And that is what went down in the skills competition at the NBA All-Star Saturday Night by Chris Paul and Victor. For those of you who didn't see or don't remember, they cheated. They pretty much tried to cheat their way through the contest. I'm assuming you're familiar with the skills challenge. You know, there's a bunch of passing, there's a shooting component, and the whole point is for your team to try to make it through the obstacle course as fast as possible. And for the first time in NBA All-Star Saturday Night history of this skills competition, Chris Paul and Wemby tried to cheat their way through it by, instead of shooting the ball at the shooting portion of the skills competition, because the way it works out is you have to shoot the ball 3 times if you miss the first 2 times. Like, you have to make a shot in 3 attempts. If you make the first attempt, then you go on to the next obstacle. But if you miss the first or second attempt, then you still have to shoot the 3rd attempt before you can move on to the next obstacle. Even if you miss all 3 attempts, the point is you still have to put up 3 attempts, even if you miss, in order to be able to go on to the next obstacle. And, you know, I've been watching the All-Star Game since it started being televised more than 20 years ago. And when they started the skills challenge, and they made that little 3 attempt rule into the competition, that was one of the first things I thought of as well as a spectator. That the fastest way to move on to the next obstacle would just be to get the 3 attempts out of the way as fast as possible to move on to the next obstacle and get the fastest time possible. That's one of the first things I thought of when they first implemented that rule. But of course, nobody does that, because why would you do that, right? Why would you? Because if you were to do that, that would be clearly perceived as cheating, trying to cheat. But Wembanyama, because here's the deal. This is what happened, right? I'm watching the competition. Spurs come up to do their turn. Wemby's first. He gets to the shooting portion and he just starts chucking the ball at the rim. No shooting motion whatsoever. It's just getting the ball up there as fast as possible. When that happened, at first I thought, oh, maybe he doesn't understand, this is only his 2nd year in this kind of competition. Maybe he doesn't understand, you're actually supposed to try. But then Chris Paul comes up and he does the same thing. Now, as soon as this happened and it was clear that they were trying to cheat, I'm on social media, on Facebook, commenting on all the NBA posts that are going on about them being disqualified. I was commenting in real time, so I didn't know when I was making my comments that it was actually Wemby's idea to do that. So when I commented on it, I said I expected more from Chris Paul, because even though we all know he has the reputation for being having a personality of a jerk, he's still one of the best point guards that has ever lived. So I expected more from Chris Paul. Because of him, Wemby got disqualified, and the fans came to see you try to compete, not try to circumvent and shortcut the system. So the fact that they tried to cheat on its own while I was watching, that infuriated me. But then what took it even more so over the top was the pushback I was getting on it. Because many fans agreed with me, but there was also pushback that fans were saying, oh no, you don't understand. Wemby, he's so brilliant. He found this loophole that nobody else has ever thought of, and he exploited it in the rules of the competition. And when the NBA saw that he did that, they disqualified him because they didn't like that their loophole got exploited. The fact that fans were making this argument put me over the top, infuriating me. Now let me explain why I'm so outraged by this. So number one, when I watch any kind of form of entertainment, which basketball, NBA definitely is. When I watch any form of entertainment, TV, movies, video games, whatever, I always put myself in the position of, okay, if I was in this situation, this circumstance, what would I do? How would I react? That's what makes it entertaining for me, is to think about what I would do if I were in that situation. So to watch the skills challenge and think about what would I do? How would I approach it? How would I do if I were in it? To see someone like Wemby and especially Chris Paul, who should know better, be in there and try to cheat the system infuriated me, because it goes against the principle and the spirit of competition. The whole idea behind All-Star Weekend is you're voted to be an All-Star, which means the players, the coaches around you think that you are the best of the best, meaning you have the best skill and the best ability of the best players on the planet. And when you go into these all-star festivities and competitions, it's your job, your opportunity to showcase that you actually are the best. And you can only show that, you can only showcase it by performing and competing, trying, pushing yourself, testing yourself to see how good you can actually do. See, Wemby and Chris, their thoughts were, we just want to win the competition, right? Because if they win, they get the most money. They get paid the most if they win. So they just went as fast as they possibly could. They may have not meant any malfeasance or not trying to be malevolent when they did it, but the fact was, they were trying to shortcut the system, because there's only two possibilities that could have happened, right? So, okay, Wemby and Chris cheat like they did, right? Everybody else, the only thing that could have happened was either everybody else doesn't do what they did because it's very objectionably known to be cheating, and definitely nobody else wants to get caught cheating. So he and Chris cheat, but everybody else doesn't. But then, if it's not considered cheating, because another argument on the line was like, no, Wemby actually went to NBA officials, talked to them beforehand, said, this is what we're going to do. When we get to the shooting portion, we're just going to jack up shots as fast as possible. Is that okay? And somehow the NBA official was like, yeah, of course, that's fine. Don't try. Don't showcase your ability and your skill. Just go as fast as you possibly can. So I don't believe that an NBA official would actually okay that. If that was the actual conversation that took place where Wemby was like, yeah, we're not even going to try to shoot. We're just going to throw the ball at the basket as fast as we possibly can. If an NBA official okayed that, completely understanding that that's what they were going to do, that NBA official should be fired and harshly reprimanded immediately. We should know their name, and then we should all get on social media and just all together publicly shame them for doing it. That's how reprehensible that would be to me if an NBA official actually okayed that. So it's very unbelievable to me that an NBA official would okay that. There may have been some kind of miscommunication between Wemby and some kind of NBA official where, Wemby told the NBA official what they were going to do, and the NBA official didn't realize that they were just going to, jack up, the ball to the rim as fast as they possibly can and not even try to shoot. And then the official was like, I don't really understand what you're saying, but okay, just go out there and you try your best, I would believe that would happen, but I wouldn't believe the blatant, okay, it's fine for you to not even try, right? That's not okay with me. So, okay, Wemby and Chris, they do that shortcut stuff and nobody else does. Because nobody else does, because they realize it's a loophole and a shortcut and they don't want to be looked at like they were trying to shortcut the fans, then they're going to lose because they actually shot the ball. They actually tried, but because they did that, they were slower than the people that took the shortcut. So then Chris and Wemby would win. Or they all just used the shortcut. Then now the competition is about who can cheat the best. So of course, the NBA disqualified them like they should have been disqualified, because it blatantly went against the principle and spirit of competition. The way I was looking at it in the moment was like, what's the point of Wemby and Chris Paul in the competition when you and I can do what they were doing anyway? They were just trying to go as fast as they can Like, the most difficult part of that competition for me as a point guard would be to make those shots. So if I could get on, like, I'm shorter than Wemby, so I'm probably quicker and faster than he is, meaning I could probably get through the course faster than he could. And if neither one of us has to actually shoot, even though I probably shoot better than he does, if we both just jack up the ball to the rim as fast as we can, because I run faster than him, I can probably get through the course faster than he can. So how come he's in the competition and I'm not? Like, there's no difference. If we're not going to display skill, then what's the point of the most skillful players in the world being in the skills competition? And then the fans who are trying to justify that by like, no, it's just a loophole. Like, you're just mad that you didn't think of that and you couldn't do it. It's like, no, I'm trying to watch the best players on the planet show me why they're the best because that's entertaining to me. And they're choosing not to do that because they're choosing time over skill. The fact that these people with this kind of mentality walk around and are amongst us is disgusting to me. Because think about it like this. They're talking about how finding and exploiting loopholes is good. It's a good thing. It's good for Wemby and Chris that they did that, right? Because they're trying to take advantage of a system that, you know, they're smarter than. So it's okay when they do that to those people. But when, say, like, you know, millionaires, rich people, they find loopholes in tax law and they exploit those loopholes so that they don't have to pay nearly as much taxes as they really should be paying because those rich people are rich and powerful, and maybe because they're white. Oh, when they find the loopholes in tax law, they're evil people. They should be reprimanded. They should go to jail because it's so bad and evil for them to do it. But when the black NBA players do it in the skills competition, that's okay. My point being, why is it okay when one millionaire does it, but it's not okay when the other millionaire does it? Why is it okay for one person to take advantage of loopholes and the other person not? Now, just to be clear, I encourage everybody in life, whatever it is, whatever situation, circumstance you find yourself in, if there are loopholes to be found and used and exploited, use them, but only if that loophole allows you an advantage for yourself that you wouldn't normally have if you didn't use that loophole. But when you use that loophole and get that advantage, it doesn't hurt anyone else. It doesn't disadvantage anyone else. If you can find those loopholes, find them and use as many of them as you possibly can. But if the loophole results in other people being hurt, other people being disadvantaged by you using that loophole, then never do it. Never use it, because that is unfair. You don't advantage yourself at other people's cost. And that's what Wemby and Chris Paul were doing, because then it's like either everybody else just jack the shots up at the rim as fast as possible, or people actually do the competition correctly, the way it's intended to be competed in, but then lose because the people that found the loophole went faster than everybody. So you do the competition right and you do it to the best of your ability, and no matter how fast you go performing within the rules, you'll never go as fast as the person that's using the loophole. So the loophole users are now cheating the other people in the competition. And there are people walking around us that think that that is okay. They have the mindset that, like, they've been beat down by life so much and life is so unfair that whenever they get any kind of advantage, they need to grasp hold of it and use it to the very best of their ability, even if it hurts other people around them. The fact that those people exist is just completely disturbing to me, that they have that kind of mentality and they're just all around us at all times. I'm a pessimist, right? And even I don't think that you should use a loophole if it takes away from someone else. But to these people that are trying to justify that Wemby and Chris, it's perfectly okay that they did that, it's because they have the mindset that NBA players are somehow victims to the NBA itself and the NBA front offices and owners who are millionaires and billionaires and the players are just like disadvantaged youths in comparison. And so whenever they can get any kind of advantage on the NBA, they should take it and run with it and exploit it. And that's just not true. The fact of the matter is NBA players are nothing more than contracted employees to NBA teams. And not only does that contract say that you will get paid generational wealth every year just to play a game, it also says if you get the honor and privilege of being voted to being an all-star, then you must participate in all-star festivities. But that's not enough. It's not enough that it should be a privilege and an honor to be voted in as an all-star. If you win the skills challenge, you get paid to do so. And the higher the place, the more money you win. So the poor victim NBA players, Wemby found a loophole that nobody in the history of mankind has ever thought of before, even though I did as soon as I saw it the very first year it appeared. As soon as Wemby saw it, he thought he was super clever and he was going to exploit that loophole and get as much money as quickly as he could. And Chris Paul, who is his vet, and he's almost played however 15, almost 20 years that he's been playing. So Wemby's trying to do this. Wemby's a second-year player. He should know better. But Chris Paul does know better, and he just went along with the ride. How did that happen? How did you convince Paul to just do this? Like, Chris Paul should have... There's no way he didn't know and realize that they were going to get caught. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Everybody was going to be like, oh my God, did you see? They didn't even try to shoot. They just went as fast as they could. Oh my God, how revolutionary? Is that what they thought was going to happen? How could they possibly have not known or realized that people were going to be like, what the hell are they doing? They're not even trying. They're supposed to be the best in the world, showing us why they're the best, and they're not even trying. Did they not think that people are going to be pissed about that, including the NBA? The NBA is embarrassed that they did that, and the reason they should be is because NBA weekend, All-Star weekend, is about the sponsors and the advertisers. It's not about us, the NBA hardcore fans. It's about the NBA trying to attract as many sponsors and advertisers as possible, and they do that. Part of the reason they do that, how they do that, is by showcasing their best players. Look how good our players are. Look how, because they're so good, they're going to attract all of these future fans to come in the future over the next decades. And all of those fans are going to pay us all of this money. So, sponsors and advertisers, you need to join us and give us money to continue to put on our product. So, of course, the NBA is embarrassed because in front of their sponsors, the people that are going to supply them with revenue, and Chris decided to go as fast as they can and try to circumvent the system. So the advertisers see that and they go, oh, those are your best players? Those guys, the ones that just tried to cheat? Well, if your best players cheat, then why you as a league, as a company, why wouldn't you try to cheat us, the advertisers and sponsors, out of our money? Why should we give you money when your best players, it's not even formal competition, it's exhibition. If they cheat in an exhibition, why should we give you all this money? What Chris Paul and Victor Wemby did was completely just reprehensible and embarrassing to the entire league. Now, I will say in defense of Victor Wembanyama, at least on Sunday night, when he went and played in the All-Star game, he was the one player that stood out the most by trying the most, competing. He made it look like he actually cared about whether he won or lost. Not only that, but he made it look like he cared about how well he actually performed within the game. He was the one and only player that did that. So that helps to redeem himself for me in my eyes. What he did on Saturday was terrible, but just because of that, I'm not gonna go, oh, now just because of that one exhibition stupid thing that he did, now I hate Wemby and I'll never like him again. No, it's all about your actions and the actions you take. So he was terrible on Saturday. He did something terrible, but he helped to start to redeem himself on Sunday by being the one and only player that actually competed. So that's why I got outraged by how Wemby and Chris Paul cheated in the skills competition in 2025. If you found this video and my ideas in this video, my thoughts interesting at all, then please subscribe to the channel because you get more of that. And let me know down in the comments what you think. How did you react when you saw them do it? Did you think it was a good revolutionary thing? Like, oh my God, how, innovative is that? Or were you disgusted like I was? Whatever it was, let me know down in the comments. But before you do comment, make sure you hit that thanks button down below, because not only does hitting that thanks button highlight your comment, but it also directly supports the channel. So for anyone that does hit that thanks button, know I genuinely appreciate it. As always, like, share, comment like I said. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video goes live on this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
Yo, refs blow whistles, crowd boos with the bass. Integrity tripped hard, fell flat on his face. Legends in the making, now caught in the scram. Tried to curb the challenge, they got scammed. From the cones to the pass, every move was suspect. Chris and Wemby scheming, lost all the respect. Big names crumble when they cheat for applause. Real skills win under the game's just law.